Schnauzer, there's another Schnauzer there. Oh, are you awake? Ali Bob? Bobble, are you awake? Yeah, there was another Schnauzer, you didn't see it because you were fast asleep. You need to keep an eye out for these things. Seeing your mates on the side of the road. Yeah. Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. Now, this weekend sees the British round of the Formula E Championship. And last week, the kind guys at DS Automobiles reached out and invited me to an event midweek with the drivers. And they said, we'll send you a DS7 to be able to drive there and back. Sadly, that event had to be cancelled because of driver commitments. And unfortunately, I'm not able to go to the actual race at the weekend because I already had things in the diary. But that means I still have a DS7. And I thought, well, it would be rude of me not to review it and tell you guys what I think of it. Now, it's been a couple of years since I had a DS on the channel. I went out to France and spent a whole day in a DS9 driving around some beautiful vineyards, but also spending time with the DS team, really getting to grips with the brand, because not that long ago, DS was part of Citroën. You'd have a Citroën DS, and then they separated the brands, and DS became its own thing entirely with its own brand identity and its own design language. And I quite like a lot of the things that DS are doing. Shortly after that, I came back to the UK and I drove a DS3, but I've never, up until this week anyway, driven or spent any time in a DS7. This is the kind of mid-size SUV, I guess equivalent to something like an Audi Q3, that kind of size. It's not my normal type of car that I would like or lust after, but I've approached it with an open mind. And I guess the first thing we need to talk about is the exterior styling. First up, at the front. If big grills are your thing, this car is for you because it has a really big grille. Not so sure about it, to be honest. I really like the headlights. It gives the car a really purposeful, mean-looking face. And then these little bits here are a bit out there too. But this is a kind of premium take on the family SUV. We'll talk about price a little bit later on in the film, but the fit and finish and the styling is aimed at the premium end of the market, and that is probably where that size of front grille comes from. Let's have a look round the side though. From the side, this car intrigues me because I see bits of Jaguar I-Pace, I see little bits of Audi as well, but DS are trying to make a statement for themselves, trying to do things a little bit differently, make their cars stand out. Maybe that's the thinking behind these wheels. I am really not a big fan of those wheels, although these are basically plastic clip-ins to the actual alloy itself. I haven't pushed too hard, but maybe they can actually be removed. I know they're there for aerodynamic efficiency. We'll come to the powertrain of the car in a moment. It's a plug-in hybrid, and actually we've got a nice set of Michelin E Primacy tyres on here to add to that efficient running and give you as much range on EV as possible, but also as much fuel economy when you're running as a hybrid. 19-inch wheels. I think they sit quite nicely in the car. There's a bit of an arch gap at the back, but then with this plastic trim around the wheel arches, I think it just looks and adds to that crossover type feel. And then the dark blue and the black privacy glass and black trim make this car look really quite cool. Although there are little bits of chrome just on the top of the door handles there, which I'm not sure about. Practicality though, let's have a quick look inside the boot. I might need an able assistant though. Aha! My boot gauge. Come here, look, so everyone can see you. Oh! So what do you think of the boot in the DS7? So, 555 litres with the seats up, 1752 with them down. So there's a lot of storage in here. And the boot floor, you can raise the boot floor to give you a little bit of underfloor storage. But super practical. And at the end of the day, this car's aimed very much at the family market, the high-end, more premium family market, but you're still going to want to have kids and stuff in the boot. I'm sure I could get my bike in the boot quite happily, or maybe even pups, although we might be going on a road trip soon, and this one is coming with us. Although she won't be going in the boot. No, you're going to go inside the car. Ready? Whoa! Oh, now then, what kind of engine's in this thing? Okay, let me talk you through the power unit in this DS7. So it's a plug-in hybrid, and I've got to say the engine bay could do with a bit of a jet wash. But this press car's done nearly 10,000 miles now. So first things first, we've got a 1.6 litre inline-4 turbocharged petrol engine, and that on its own produces 180 horsepower and 300 newton meters of torque. And then there's an electric motor with 110 horsepower and 320 newton meters of torque, and that's coupled to a 14.2 kilowatt hour battery. Combined output, you would think you just add those numbers together. Sadly, you don't. So combined output, when it's running in full hybrid, is 225 horsepower and 360 newton meters. And in this model, that all goes through the front wheels and an 8-speed automatic transmission. It will do around about 40 miles in all EV running, but I will sadly admit to you, I haven't been able to test that this week. When the car was delivered to me, it wasn't fully charged, and I just haven't had the opportunity, and to be honest, I keep forgetting to plug it in, to charge it up and test its full EV running. So I've been running it as a hybrid. But the performance of the engine we'll put to the test shortly. It's no sports car. It does 0 to 60 in 8.9 seconds. It's got 140 miles an hour top end, but I'm not so sure that's particularly important stats for the typical buyer of this car. But the most important thing is, engine-wise, it's got enough power for the size of vehicle. And if you wanted more, they do one of these with, I think, up to 300 horsepower and four-wheel drive, if you wanted it. Rear passenger room. For this size of car, and for my extremely long, lanky legs, it's not bad. Always could be better. I'd always like a bit more. But the choice of materials and the way the interior of this car has been trimmed really is nice, and it gets even better up front. Oh, it's child locks. No. Why do they do that? Hold on, cunning plan. Oh, genius. Now, when you sit in this car, it's important to remember that DS is aiming at the top end of the market, at that premium space, because that therefore dictates what this cabin's going to feel like and the choice of materials inside the cabin. And the first thing is, there's a lot of Alcantara in here, on the dash, all the way around this console here, on the seats. And it's trimmed beautifully. It's got some really nice contrast stitching. The dash itself at the top, that's like a rubberized material rather than leather, but the steering wheel and all the other touch points are really nice and certainly tick that premium box. For me though, the standout bit, and I know it's kind of fundamental to DS's design language, are these angular shapes on the various elements of switchgear. You see it from the start-stop button just at the top there, but these buttons down here, they are mainly your window controls and then a lock and a window lock for the rear passenger. And they are very stylized. They've got this kind of almost like a knurled aluminium effect. I quite like it, but I can imagine it will be too much for some people. I'm normally a really big fan of gear selectors. That one's just a bit too phallic for me, if I'm brutally honest, although actually using it, it does have a really nice feel to it. And then if I just start the car, you've got your main infotainment screen just there, with screen mirroring for smartphones and so on. And then a nice main instrument binnacle, although a lot of the stylisation on that is very much in line with the DS logo. The next thing we need to do is take this car for a drive. Now, it just so happens that this week I need to go to 50's Supercars for some meetings, and it's a 85 or so mile drive in each direction, and I thought that would just be a really nice backdrop to put this car through its paces, spend some time in it and get my head around it. And also, the Petrol Pup is coming. So on our way to a little road trip, and I thought I'd bring my road trip buddy. Petrol Pup, I thought, rather than stay at home, mate, you can come with me. Yeah, because she just loves spending time with me, to be honest. Especially now we've only got the one. It's not quite the same. I wouldn't leave her at home for the day. She'd have gone to Kate, our lovely dog sitter. But I thought, do you know what? 50's, which is where we're heading, is dog friendly, and she's never been there before, so I thought I'd bring her along. It's a just over 2 hour drive, a nice mix of roads to put this DS7 through its paces. I've got to say, initial impressions are, there are bits I really love about this cabin, but let's put it through its paces. Let's, as I said, what have we got? It is 84 miles. So I should be there around about 1 o'clock, which is bang on when I plan to be. And I reckon this one will sleep all the way there. Two very brief things, because this is a modern day car. It's got bings and bongs, obviously. Now, as I've said a few times, getting in and out of different manufacturers of cars, it's always like, oh, god damn, where do you turn the bings and bongs off? And I haven't driven a DS for ages, but I'm happy to report that this one's actually quite easy to turn the bings and bongs off. There's a little car symbol just here on the dash. You click on that, and the very first thing that comes open is your ADAS systems. Turn lane departure assistance off, you have to confirm that. Turn excessive speed warning off, you don't have to confirm that, and then you just push that to go back to Apple CarPlay, and that's it. The two most intrusive, most annoying ADAS systems switched off. Owen, she's still asleep. We've only been going like less than 5 minutes. Bobble, Bob, Hallie Bob, you're awake? Okay, shall I let you sleep? Yeah. You just chill. You got your rug there. Yeah. We're going somewhere where you might be able to have like sausages and stuff. Yeah. When we have our lunch. I'm only just the other side of Petersfield. I've been in the car like 15, 20 minutes, but there's a nice bit of road. So far I've just been driving in the hybrid drive mode. So I'm going to go to the drive mode selector up here, and I'm going to put it into sport. And not that this car is, I don't know, a sports car. It's a kind of mid-sized SUV. But you always want to have a bit of fun on the twisties, right? Unfortunately, I can just see a silver transit van up ahead, which is going to ruin my day. Maybe I'll do the YouTuber wait thing. Good plan. At least you get to see the nice, houses and trees and be nosy, look in the ones that you drive past too quickly. The YouTuber wait thing. We do this a lot, normally off camera. It's normally when you've got a really nice bit of road that and there's traffic on it. And the only option you've got really is to just slow down really, really slow, keeping an eye in your rearview mirror to make sure nothing comes up behind you. Just wait, give yourself a bit of space, and then you can give it the beans. Okay, enough's enough. Well, the gearbox in this is quite lazy. And oh, there we go. It's going. What do you want from me? Do you want me to go down? I'll kick down if you like. And it's gonna kick down. Oh no, the gearbox is terrible. The suspension's pretty wallowy, and the steering is quite vague. My worst fears have come true. Oh, the brakes aren't too bad. mean, it's actually got a reasonable amount of go, but the gearbox just hasn't got a clue what it's meant to be doing. Come down here on the brakes. Oh, look at that lovely old Bentley. And then, a bit of understeer. Oh dear. Yeah. Oh, it's kicked down again. Yeah. And I've caught up the transit band. Now, I don't think... There's no paddles on the back of the steering wheel. Oh, yes, there are. Hold on, I've just found them. Let me just... Oh, we'll have to give that a go, because the automatic gearbox isn't really very good at all. Let's find some more twisties, and we'll give the paddles a go. The paddles are a bit... They're shaped like the E-gear paddles you'd find on a Lamborghini Gallardo. It's a big stretch, by the way. It's a really big stretch from DS7 to Lamborghini. But yeah, automatic gearbox. What did you think of that one, dude? It wasn't the best, was it? No. She's like, no, she's much more of a PDK fan, the Petrol Pup. Yeah, you like the PDK, don't you? It's a good gearbox. Yeah. So this car might not be at home being pushed down a twisty B road, but where it is at home is on a dual carriageway or on a longer journey. I've just got the cruise control set to 70 miles an hour. It's not adaptive cruise in this particular model, which is fine, but it is really smooth and really quite quiet. There's a little bit of wind noise because of its slightly elevated SUV style body format, I guess. But it is a very comfortable car to do miles in. It rides over the road surface really nicely. And actually, when you're cruising, the steering that's a bit vague on a twisty B road just provides a nice, relaxing drive. And I've actually got lane departure still switched off. I'm sure if I turn that on, it would make the cruise control motorway cruising experience even better. But yeah, on a dual carriageway, it's actually a really nice place to be. I promise, find some twisty roads to give this gearbox a go, but I'm not holding my breath. Right, let's give this flappy paddle gearbox a go, shall we? Oh, you just cut the corner, mate. That's all good. No worries. Wow. Good job I had a premonition that he was going to do that. So, here we go. We are in... There's a bit of a hesitation, but it's not terrible. And as I said, my expectations aren't going to be that this is like, oh, I don't know, a PDK dual clutch transmission, because I know it's not, and I know this car really isn't aimed at that market, so it's an almost irrelevant and pointless test. But hopefully changing gears manually will just be a little bit more predictable than the car doing it itself. Here we go. On the way up, actually, they're not too bad from a gear change point of view. There's no rev counter that I can find, so you kind of just have to do it by ear. And then also, if you don't touch a paddle for a while, it just reverts itself back into an automatic gearbox, which, again, I would expect. I can't see any manual override function. The only thing I do have is a B mode to just increase regenerative braking. If I just pull that towards me, I'm now in B mode, and that means just when I lift off, I've got a bit more regenerative braking, and I'm just putting power back into that battery pack. Right, let me just... it's hunting again. I don't like B mode. I'm going to put it back into D. I'm going to try and just... just try and hold it in gear and just get it to listen to me. I don't want it changing for itself. Oh, it's done it again because it's basically not got a clue when it needs to be in what gear. It's just, even in sport mode, it took me straight up into 7th. It's not got the comprehension in it that I want to drive in a spirited way. And unlike when that S5 Avant I had from Audi the other week, when that was in sport mode, it kind of hung on to gears even when it was changing for itself in a really intuitive way. This, not a clue. Absolutely not a clue. Oh, look at that. All 3 of those cars turned left. Excellent. And kick down. I'm wondering if I just try and just make progress rather than try to really accelerate aggressively, whether the gearbox will just kind of sort itself out a little bit. No. It's not that the car is slow, it seems to have plenty of power for its size and weight, which is a good thing. It's just not set up as a sporty drive, which is fine. Absolutely fine. I'm all good with that, because that is not what this car is about. This is a family car, and what you really want to do in a car like this is make a long journey comfortable. And so far, I've been sat in this seat for well over an hour, best part of an hour and a half, and I am really comfortable. The surroundings are nice. The infotainment system, in terms of managing stuff like temperature, is all touchscreen. You push a button there, and then I'm not a big fan of that temperature air conditioning unit readout. It's just, I'd give me some real buttons for that, please. That is distracting and borderline dangerous. And then you can just go back to CarPlay. As far as I can make out, there are no physical buttons for the air conditioning. There's a little rotator there for the volume of the stereo, which is fine. But, yeah, not good. Anyway, what a beautiful road this is. One of my favourites. We've got about half an hour to go till I get to 5 zeros. But yeah, driving this car, it has its good bits. It's comfortable, it's smooth, it's very quiet, and you do feel like you're in a nice place. The not so good bits are, if you want to drive enthusiastically, the gearbox hasn't got a clue how to do that, even though the engine has a reasonably good amount of performance. So yeah, the driving dynamics bit is a little bit disappointing.